He was on ETC, Ariel, Cho, and now Dahaka.
Now that's a flex.
Yeah.
That is the flex role just being personified there by Gluehammer. But now clearing up the lane, taking a couple shots. The tower's already out of ammo. Good burrow charge there. Root does land. Dahaka gets shielded, but they're still actually attempting to get the turnaround with the help of Shekel here.
Eternal trying to juke a drag tongue that never comes.
Yeah, he's able to walk over the burrow to Nubarak though and get out. Beautiful knockout from Sport Billy, and they're able to pick off the Dahaka.
So Eternal dodged drag tongue about 6 times, which never came. Then finally, when the time came to cast it, there was a Nubarak to kill Dahaka back. So very nicely played by Diamond Skin. Razuf going for the siege camp. And you may wonder, there was a 3v2 for a long time by Diamond Skin in the top lane, going for those top towers, the top ammunition. What was happening in the meantime? How was Polska capitalizing on their 3v2 at the bottom lane? And well, the answer is not really. Chris on Gul'dan was a little bit too good at de-pushing that lane, and no damage was done. So it is a double lead here for Diamond Skin, getting the takedown and depleting the ammo.
We are seeing that Rhaegar is a little bit late to the mid lane though, due to the fact that he did finish the camp and then B, and they have 3 heroes in the top lane. He's still going to get back before too many minions die, so they don't miss out too much. For Billy, another attempt onto Leoric this time. Wraithwalk, very short one just to get him out of range.
Very lucky spawn position for Polska Pamieta. It's always a bit, yeah, luck-based here. 50-50, you both grab the camp, and then you can defend the camp and deal with the tribute at the same time. Wow. Are they dealing with it though?
Clutch Storm. Clutch Storm, but Shekel's already dead. The focus here, and here's what we were concerned about. Is Leoric tanky enough to hold out? Maybe even not just through the early game, just all game long. As Nanda getting focused, able to raid swipe into the background. Shekel's back though. Guess what? Early game Leoric, he ain't staying dead long. And that is going to allow Polska to take the first tribute of the game. That's an interesting strategy. Just let him die and he comes back super early because Leoric. Gluehammer actually takes a tower shot here. This is what we call overextending, but he does turn around and leave.
Well, he was trying to help Polish Guru, who was pretty desperate about getting that kill. Tribute, of course, goes to Polska Pamieta. This is because this tribute should always go to Polska Pamieta. They're dealing with the siege camp and the tribute. They sent all 5. Chris has to stay below to deal with the siege camp, lest he would lose 2 towers and a gate for free to the siege camp. But Diamond Skin is still ahead on level because of that Leoric kill.
So they baited in here, looking to try and potentially steal the camp. Sport Billy came in for the zoning, and then nearly got in trouble himself. Very much a bounce back and forth there between which team wanted to actually overcommit. What ended up happening is just nothing. We saw Diamond Skin get the camp, and Polska Pamieta, they were never fully committed because Razuf was always over here doing this.
So Razuf is going to Hearthstone. The tribute will actually announce in a few seconds, so he'll be a little bit late, probably, for the tribute.
Yep. So tanking through, at least for the moment. Here comes Nanda, dropping some extra damage. Wraithwalk, not available. Down goes Shekel again. 3 kills to 0 currently in favor of Diamond Skin, but once again, tribute count is in favor of Polska. Tribute is on Polska's side of the map as well. Shekel will be back for it because Joy, he is Leoric.
Yeah. Greymane is doing some serious damage. He's actually going to spawn in the middle of all of them.
Potential pain, but he did scout out and was able to escape. Surprise Gluehammer! Immediate cleanse, getting Eternal out of that danger there. But Polska have now set up position.
Okay, yeah, really good position again for the tribute for Polska Pamieta. They get 2 consecutive tributes. I would say quite lucky to get those 2 spawns exactly. It could not possibly have been better for them.
No, that went well.
North mid and then north east tribute spawns. Now they do have a problem, because for the next tribute, Diamond Skin will be level 10 and Polska will barely be level 9. And that means that they will lose the next tribute, but they have that space to work with. So I think what Polska would want to be doing now would be to wait to see where the tribute... No, we know where the tribute is going to spawn. It's going to spawn bottom left. So Polska, during that time, should start the boss. You grab the siege camp now, then you immediately rotate and you go and get the boss.
And it looks like Diamond Skin had the same idea. They rotate up to scout it, but they find nothing except a potentially delicious Gluehammer who immediately pops Essence. burrows. He dropped the Dark Swarm to stop himself getting body blocked, instead gets rooted and taken out.
So that's always a thing when you have a Nubrak. You can dive forts because the fort will always prioritize beetles. Every time a Nubrak uses an ability, beetle. So it's very easy to dive people below forts without any defender's advantage. Smart rotation by Diamond Skin. They anticipated the boss move. Tribute indeed spawns bottom left. And now we have level 10 reach for Diamond Skin. They can get the tribute, but they also have the power to zone out this boss, which would be the best plan B for Polska. And they still want it, you see. Rhaegar was checking the boss. They're clearing the siege, and they will still go for it, but Eternal is not going to let it go. And Uther, just a safe distance behind. Very good positioning by Diamond Skin. Uther could either go for the tribute or help Arthas if he's in trouble.
Guru, though, used that opportunity of having Arthas near him to grab a couple stacks. He's up to 30 bonus on his Hungering Arrow here, so he's doing okay, but you'd really want more, just the amount of near team fights they've actually had so far.
Tassadar went for the takedown quest at 7.
Ooh.
No takedowns yet.
So potential percentage damage. He's gone for full auto attack build, actually.
Yeah, mental acuity. It could be full auto indeed. It could also just be for the vision, as vision is key. Wars are won with spies, not swords.
Wise, Grubby, giving some advice for any potential war leaders watching.
Yeah, of course, I have so much experience. I played Warcraft.
Hey, I see what you did there. As we do see the rotation coming up here from Polska, they're finally going to attempt that boss. Immediate move in by Eternal, though. He is just guarding that.
Wow, look at that tribute spawn. This one was
nice.
The third one is always predictable if it's double top, but this one was random again. And again, very good spawn location for Polska Pamieta. They're able to set up very backwards position, very safe way to interrupt. It's hard to grab though, because you can just shoot skill shots over the wall as Diamond Skin. But here we go, the fight's breaking out in earnest. Eternal going around with the flank.
And down goes Dahaka straight away. The Eternal flank coming in. Shekel is being forced to retreat. Looks like he's going to try and potentially be distracted. He did go for it too, by the way. But down goes Valor, down goes Leoric, who's in the entomb. It's Rajuf, and he shall die as well. 4-0 in favor of Diamond Skin. They will pick up their second tribute of the game and a 2-level lead.
Yeah, Horrify insta-kill. Their very easy kill on Dahaka, and then the Arthas flank completely put a nail in the coffin here. Diamond Skin get the full wipe nearly. Was it a full wipe?
No,
4 kills.
Has survived.
Yeah, 4 kills. Now they can get a boss. The boss will then need to be defended against. Talent lead for Diamond Skin. They can get the next tribute, and then probably the second boss. That fight, which was kind of even. I mean, there were even chances. That fight completely threw this game out of whack. Diamond Skin has a huge lead now.
Yes, they do. They are in quite a bit of control here. We're seeing Polska finally attempting to take the boss. They're not doing it fast enough, Grubby.
Nope.
Danger, danger!
We have no damage!
They have no damage! Where's the team? As Eternal will once again continue to be the guardian of the top boss. And this time will allow his team to take it.
Yeah, this was a bit of an illogical move by Polska. They needed the Haka to depush top for XP, and they needed him to stay there to sell the idea that they're not really going for the boss. If the Haka suddenly leaves a minion wave and goes missing, 100% they're doing boss, right? So they only were able to attribute 3 members, but they didn't have enough damage to take down the boss, so it was illogical. All those things, those bad things which were going to happen to Polska, they were going to happen anyway, but they made it worse now.
Yeah, it's looking pretty bad. There's the curse, though, as there's the curse onto Polska. Their minions get wrecked. Bot lane being pressured by the entirety of Diamond Skin. Top lane being pressured by a boss. Diamond Skin actually have a boss reinforcements here. It just has less health. Yeah, this looks rough, especially with Shekel getting taken out here.
Oh man, not an easy day for Leoric there. Cursed Bullet comes out once again. He finds himself alone. And the question is, should you really respawn under 5 of the enemy? The answer is probably no. 5 deaths Shiku now. And it's been tough for him, you know. Leoric doesn't have the survivability that someone like Johanna would have under these circumstances. Diamond Skin with a very easy victory here after an amazing team fight at the Tribute. They will take the 3rd win here in the 4th map, 3-1. in just 11 minutes here.
And that puts them only one game away from holding on to their HGC Europe position. Polska Pamieta, they are up against the wall, Grubby. They still have a map. They have a hope. They have a single spark of belief there in them. But it's now a situation where they can't afford any more mistakes.
Yeah. And they faced Chris's Gul'dan 4 times in a row. And you look at these patterns, it doesn't mean you have to ban it. You could also counter it, you could counterplay it, or whatever. But usually you'll find teams looking at these things, these patterns in draft, and like kind of check mark, okay, that one was Gul'dan every time it was an issue. And Nubarak was kind of an issue as well. You can also look at, oh, our only map win is with Cho'Gall. Let's just do that again. First pick Ariel. Kind of obvious though, isn't it?
Very true, but Battlefield is still in the map pool, still available for them. We'll find out what they pick soon, though. For now, we're going to head to a quick break, and when we come back, it's going to be game number 5.
After discovering her factory and the surrounding city in danger of being invaded by beings from other worlds, CEO Katja Volskaya immediately began work on a new mech series to defend her homeland from the denizens of the Nexus. Now, the Triglav Protector is ready for testing. Volskaya Foundry is a medium-sized 3-lane battleground. At the top, center, and bottom of the foundry sit 3 control points. Periodically, a control point will activate, and teams must vie for control of the point to acquire a massive mech vehicle. Ownership of a point can be gained by standing inside the designated area. However, if an enemy happens to also enter the area, the point will become contested until the foe is eliminated. Once a team assumes possession of a point, they will begin to accrue victory progress at a steady rate. Teams must remain in the area to continue this progress, as stepping away will eventually return the point to a neutral state. As in Overwatch, if a control point reaches 99% and an enemy remains to contest, the point will enter an overtime state. This overtime state will only last a few seconds, but it is reset whenever an enemy player steps onto the point. Once a team's victory progress finally hits 100%, they will close out the objective and initiate deployment of a Triglav Protector. The Protector is similar to other piloted objectives in Heroes of the Storm, like the Dragon Knight or Garden Terror, but it is unique as a 2-person vehicle. The first person to enter the Protector will assume its pilot position. This player will control the mech's movement and use of sieging and support abilities. Charge will propel the Protector toward a targeted enemy's position, dealing area damage around it and double damage to structures and minions. Rocket Fist launches a concussive fist that will root the first hero it hits or disable a targeted structure for a brief period of time. When activated, Shield Emitter will provide the mech armor and grant a shield to allies in its proximity. The second person to enter the Protector will take on the gunner position and has access to a deadly set of damage-dealing abilities. After a range-defining windup, the Protector's particle cannon can launch a projectile to a target location, dealing area damage upon impact. The mech can also initiate Gatling Cannon, unleashing an ongoing barrage of missiles at your cursor location for a brief period. Or activate its Scorching Laser to cut a line in the terrain that will trigger a delayed explosion for heavy damage. In addition to the Protector, spread across Volskaya Foundry are 5 mercenary camps, 2 siege camps, 2 turret mercs, and a singular support camp. Utilize the pushing power and activatable resources from these camps to bolster your team's aggression and push further into enemy territory. The control points across Volskaya are unique in a few ways. Each layout is different and will require you to engage the objective with a variety of tactical strategies. On top of that, the addition of moving conveyor belts around the points brings a dose of chaos that can amplify your team's approach or stifle it completely. Make sure you understand the direction each conveyor belt is moving around your point when you decide to engage or retreat. Even if your back is against the wall and it looks like the enemy is about to capture a point, do not lose hope. If you defensively dive a point before it hits 100%, the enemy cannot secure victory with you present. safely hold your ground and get your team to back you for a team fight that could turn the tide. You do not want to underestimate the power of the Triglav Protector. In the hands of talented players, this mech can unload a ridiculous amount of damage. Polska Foundry is primed to test its remarkable new technology. How are you with mechs? Ready to be a pilot? A gunner? Or just a test dummy? We'll see you in the Nexus.
Heroes of the Storm. Get a Heroes Legendary Loot Chest included with Twitch Prime. Rated T for Teen.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We're getting ready for game number 5. And if you're just joining us, I'm not a magician, Tetcher, and I am joined by the best caster in the Netherlands and Europe. It's Grubby.
Well, I'm not sure about that. My neighbor is actually a pretty good caster as well. I can hear it during the neighbor barbecues, hear his voice orating to his big family. But yeah, here we go with the 5th map of Diamond Skin here versus Polska Pamieta. Polska is up against the ropes and they're going to be picking the final map.
Now, what was the map that we were suggesting to be potentially the next Cho'Gall map there, Grubby?
Battlefield of Eternity?
Really? I hadn't thought of that. But yes, going to Battlefield. Is it the potential return of the Cho'Gall comp that got Polska their 1 win in the series so far? A reminder, this is a best of 7, and as such, Diamond Skin need 1 map to hold their position in HGC Europe, whereas Polska can't afford to lose a single one.
3 consecutive map wins will be the order of the day here for Polska Pamieta, starting with the next one. Now, if they want to sell a Cho'Gall comp, they can't go with Ariel. Like, they can't first pick her, they can't ban a Nubrak or Graven or make it too obvious. And you can never take Ariel together with Cho'Gall. So either way, there'll be some kind of disconnect. Maybe, like, if they really want Cho'Gall, you know, maybe they don't. Maybe it was just a one-time thing. But if they do, maybe they run it with Lieutenant Morales, go like double pick, Cho'Gall, and then just flex their support.
Maybe Rhaegar or something like that. There's several options. Divine Shield Cho'Gall still works. Like you said, Morales Cho'Gall still is reasonable. So yeah, they've got to really play around this, but there are still several other compositions that work just as well. Let's have a look at the draft now. We're heading in, and it's going to be the Diamond Skin first ban.
Abathur 4 out of 5 times. This is again an Abathur possible map, unlike Tomb of the Spider Queen. So Abathur ban once again. And you know, anytime that Polska Pamieta practiced Abathur in the running up to this series would now have been wasted time. That's kind of the cool thing about deciding on 1 ban when you're going up against a team and sticking to it. You don't have to practice against Abathur at all.
True,
so
exactly.
You
know
practice,
it's not coming.
Yeah, your practice becomes more efficient, and at the same time, all of your opponent's practice time is wasted on that hero.
Yeah, they didn't ban it once, and that was on the map it just wasn't feasible on.
Yep.
So Diamond Skin really playing a solid draft game, at least so far today.
Of course, it's more predictable, and if Diamond Skin was losing, they would change up the formula. If there was some kind of new power pick by Polska, like let's say Lunara is just dominating them every game, then they would have switched. But they simply do not see a reason to change it up yet.
So far, banning out the ETC, top priority support we've seen today. And Uther, consistent first pick for Diamond Skin whenever it's been available a lot of the time. Even though Tassadar is still currently open, they could have gone for a Tassadar. If they were planning on going Valor, Tassadar Valor is still really strong. There is that Valor, also very highly prioritized. And there's the Tassadar. So once again, we're seeing that high priority here.
Vala with Monster Hunter is one of the primary immortal damage dealers. You can't go full gung-ho on picking single target immortal PvE damage. You also want to have a valid team fight.
Yeah.
This is a team fight map, if anything. Immortal damage is a really good tool to have, but team fights will decide this this map, as it's kind of very small, a lot of 5v5 defense and attacks on immortals. Vala and Tas will do very well for that. Greymane, another very popular pick. Very high damage output on the Immortal.
Great. I like the Greymane. Like right now, it's flexible and it's open, so I don't see any reason why not. Like back in the days, we'd see Lunara heavily prioritized due to nature's culling. That's sort of fallen out of favor due to the amount of time it takes.
Yeah.
Malthael, on the other hand, for similar reasons, is actually still available and still very popular. So we could see him come out. There's Arthas and Anubarak. So far, we're just seeing a mirror draft of the last 2-3 games that Diamond's going to play.
Yeah. Arthas, Anubarak, Uther was their exact draft in the 4th game just now on Cursed Hollow. And it's very similar to their their game 1 on Dragonshire as well. It was Uther, Greymane, and then Anubarak, Arthas. So they just kind of like how these two warriors work together and bring a solid front line, flexing their final 2 picks, either a second support or double damage.
And it's been working well for them so far. Let's see what Polska Pamieta are going to ban out as their second ban. A damage dealer would be good. Who's the biggest issue for them? Potentially, like who's best in the Immortal? They could have banned the Greymane there. Instead, they ban out the Genji. Now, Genji, very effective on this map. He's got really good poke potential. Okay, Immortal damage, not the best.
Yeah.
But there's also the situation of Genji having a lot of little tricks he can do here. There's a lot of like mini walls on the map, and there's also a lot of there's also a trick that we've been seeing a lot in China, where players will just go mid lane and kill the fountain by leaping over the wall and then just dash out before anyone can react. So a solid ban, and there goes Malthael. We were talking about it just recently as to why it can be exceptionally effective.
So the cool thing for Diamond Skin was they know Polska will only grab 1 assassin more at maximum, so they were in no rush at grabbing their own. Because Polska still needs a main tank and a full support. So there's no risk that they will neither have Gul'dan nor Greymane.
Yeah.
Like, seeing Greymane Gul'dan as picks now for Polska would be insane. Like, Assassin chokeout on Diamond Skin, but then you don't have a full warrior or support.
So there's a hero we've actually been kind of ignoring, and it's kind of strange we've been ignoring it considering one of the team names. Li Ming. Could be picked up here by Diamond Skin for that poke potential to try and counteract the Vala.
Samuro also still a possibility.
Yeah.
Not sure how it fits in against Arthas. No, actually, I am sure. Terrible. So I don't think Polska should go Samuro.
Well, the Ariels come back. Unfortunately, there is no more room for a Cho'Gall, so no potential of that. They need a...
Maybe only Cho.
Or anything there. Maybe just Cho. Just Gall.
Yeah.
Just have Ariel pick him up and like just throw him around with a crown on his head.
Seems
just a head with a crown. So instead, what are we going to see for their last pick? Plenty of options for hope generators. Like Greymane, Li Ming, Lunara even again is still actually viable, even though not as highly prioritized as it used to be. Whereas Diamond Skin, like we said, damage, second support, they are so open at this point.
Yeah, I think for Diamond Skin they could just go Greymane, Li Ming. You get a lot of single target damage, good poke. They both have a reset with Go for the Throat, as well as Arcane Mass.
I don't know why we didn't expect that to happen.
What? Gul'dan? 5th time in a row? No way.
So Gul'dan, 5 in a row from Diamond Skin there. Chris is very much on a tear with this hero, so not too surprising. So how do you deal with this? What's the last pick from Polska here? More damage, second tank, bit of both with a bruiser perhaps, a little bit of Sonya, or the Samuro. Like you were saying earlier, he hears and obeys.
Yeah, so Samuro's not a great matchup into Arthas, and he's even not that great into Gul'dan. Like, when speaking about killing mages as Samuro, Li Ming, Chromie, easy peasy as Samuro. But
gives
like
lots of stacks to Gul'dan.
Gul'dan is like, yeah, he gets a lot of stacks. He's a little bit more tanky. He can self-peel if he horrifies all 3 illusions. So Samuro becomes easier to kill. But let's look at the actual rotational game plan for Polska. Johanna, Vala, Ariel, and Tassadar are meaning to stay together. They have good sustain. They weave in and out of combat. They protect each other. And then Samuro, he'll be whacking away on that Immortal. And with Illusion Master, you should be veritably unkillable. Unless you get triple horrified. Indeed, you get horrified by Chris. Samuro should not be dying at all in the early to mid game. And he does a lot of damage on the Immortal.
He really does, and we've seen some really great play with this, with multiple instances of both split pushing and killing the Immortal and team fighting going on from Samuro's with that Illusion Master talent.
Yeah.
So good chance we are going to be seeing that one. Like, as much as I love the visual of Bladestorm, and I'm sure so do you, it's so rare to see these days, and they're against a lot of heroes who can make that quite difficult due to high mobility.
Yeah, Bladestorm sees a lot of play at the lower to mid levels. It's unstoppable, it's spread damage, and it's a nice finisher. But what it also is, it broadcasts and says, "You finally found the real one. It's me. It's me, Mario."
Until you're 20, in which case they don't move as well anyway. So, like, the best play actually as level 20 Samuro of Bladestorm is to just stand still when you activate Bladestorm, so they still can't tell which one's real.
Yeah, or move as erratically as the rest, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But the point is, like, at level 10, suddenly everyone will focus you if you Bladestorm.
Exactly. So, for now, ladies and gentlemen, let's find out who is going to be taking game number 5. It is going to be the Battlefield of Eternity. And Grubby, would you like to introduce the team on the left?
Diamond Skin 3-1. Leading right now the Pro Division dropout, but they are looking to keep their spot. Maybe it's going to be Sport Billy on Anubarak, Nande on Greymane, Wolf Joe on Uther, and we've got Greymane being played here by Nande and Arthas by Eternal.
Whereas on the right-hand side, it is currently Polska Pamieta with Shrechu playing that Johanna Rajuf. Bringing out the Ariel this time. No cleanse available for him. Gluehammer on that Tassadar. Polish Guru bringing out the Vala. And finally, Gugas shall be showing us the Samuro. We hope it will be impressive.
Impressive, am I not?
Impressive, am I not? Polish Guru does force back the beginning tower attempt with 2 heroes here. It's a little bit too scary. They just drop some damage and leave.
Yeah, there's always the chance that your opponent guesses wrong and has very few defenders on that particular lane. And you have a chance to cheese a tower, but this time the defense was there, so the attack is stopped.
Speaking of attacking, Shrechu is in serious trouble with getting body blocked and just takes a slide across the floor, as that is first blood, and killing Johanna at any point isn't easy. She did go for reinforce, by the way, so very much a counter to the Greymane here, but in this case was taken out.
Very impressive there. The body blocks, the stunts, the patience. She turned on Iron Skin early, perhaps slightly too early, but either way, the stunts were hitting at a very constant pace, so she tried to get away, unable to do so. Diamond Skin first blood. Rotating up again, now trying to get Tassadar, or at the very least proccing his dimensional shift.
Oh, Gluehammer barely gets out there. That was very close.
Did he already use dimensional shift, or is he
know.
so greedy at saving it? I mean, now it's up already. It didn't look quite at the time. There we go. Will save himself. Nicely done.
Indeed. Talents-wise, by the way, it is Way of the Blade for Samuro. Tass once again with an auto-attack style, at least for the start. Johanna attempted gank again, this time much safer. Shrechu able to back out.
Polska Pamieta will be in a position to pressure the Immortal. Pretty good position for them. Diamond Skin will take a defensive location. Samuro now coming down as well. Gugus looking to add his clout to the fight here. Arthas going to be doing damage. So it's a 5 versus 4 here for Polska, but they're pushing into an Immortal. There's